episode, I'm going to show you how to change a flywheel seal and a couple other things. First, I want to show you some things that I'm pretty excited about. Alright, so check this out. I had all this hardware plated with gold zinc. It looks amazing. I got the pulleys done, all the hose clamps, the gas cap, the oil cap. I mean, this thing is going to look pretty awesome for a while. So that's pretty great. So what I'm going to need to do next with all this hardware is resort it back into all those bags that I had in the plating video. So that'll take a while, but yeah, I mean, God, everything in here is gorgeous. Very excited. The other thing I'm super excited about is I just had my alternator rebuilt. It looks absolutely brand new. New bearings, new slip ring, and what I really think is crazy is that like all the hardware is brand new as well. So this thing is beautiful right now. It will never look this good again. Alright, so the first thing I want to do is lock this flywheel. So I know you can just make a flywheel lock with a piece of steel with a couple holes in it. I actually have one, so I'm going to try to just jam this on here. All it needs to do is prevent this from moving. Now I'm going to want to take off the pressure plate bolts. Alright, so this is the pressure plate. This is the clutch release bearing. So that fork inside the transmission that moves around when you push in the clutch pedal, that's what pulls on this guy. But this pressure plate, as you can see, it's all orange. This is cast iron. So somewhere in the mid-70s, they switched from aluminum to cast iron. And this is about 12 pounds. It's pretty heavy. The SOX sport clutch kit comes with an aluminum pressure plate, which saves you 4 pounds of rotational mass. Thinking about it, the other thing you want to check is your bearing. I mean, this spins okay, but it sounds a little nasty. Maybe I can re-grease it. I don't know. It depends if I have to reuse this stuff or not. You also want to look on this friction surface. I mean, this is a little rusty. Just because the car hasn't been driven in a while, but you can kind of see there's some signs of high heat and stuff. So is this worth reusing? I don't really know. I'm not really a clutch expert. I'm just showing you guys what I'm looking at. The other thing is this is the friction disc, and I did get a battery for my micrometer. So I'm going to measure that right now. This was 8.1 millimeters thick when it was new. And for a 225 millimeter clutch like this, the minimum thickness it can be is like 6.1. But we'll see what it is. It looks like it's close to these rivets. So maybe this is done. I don't know. It's only a few millimeters difference. Okay, let's see what we got here. All right, about 7.5. So, decision time. This thing has some life left in it. Really depends if I can get a deal so far. Now we're going to be taking these 6 bolts out of here that's holding the flywheel on. and it uses an M12, I don't know how many points it is. Yeah, it looks like 12 point. All right. Hold on. Oh, wow, that is on there. Must be some Loctite on those things. Let's give them some more torques here. There we go. Oh yeah. Whoa. That's good. Let's see what we got. See if the flywheel seal is nasty. Survey says, hey, not bad. Now this is a 6-bolt flywheel because there are 6 bolts. On the later cars they had 9, and then this pilot bearing bolts into the flywheel. This gets pressed in, so I don't know if that's good or not. I probably need to re-grease it if I reuse this flywheel. But I have been reading about lightened flywheels. Some people say they're great, some people say they're terrible on the street. I really think it's one of those things where too much of it is bad, but maybe slightly lighter is good. I don't know, because I've heard a lot of people say that if I get a mildly lightened one, it's a little more rev happy and fun to drive. What you don't want to do is, I was reading about some eBay ones, I forget the name of the company, QSC maybe. They put holes right here, and they sell a lightened flywheel for a really good price. But what I was reading about was that they are not even using the right material that the supplier or the designer of the part actually originally spec'd. So what's happening is the flywheel is disintegrating and failing in between those holes, so this part becomes separate from the inner part. You can imagine how bad that is. So definitely avoid the Chinese parts for your flywheel. Overall though, I'm not sure what I want to do. It's really on the cusp of replacing it. Probably gonna just check my bank account and make a judgment call if I can afford this or not. Already gone this far. Slippery slope. So typically if this seal were bad, this hole inside here would just be like absolutely caked with oil. It looks like this seal's pretty good, so kind of surprised. But in the last video I said I didn't see a ton of oil here, so this seal must still be good, but we have a new one, so let's put it in. So there's a little notch right here in the case where you can start prying this guy out, or it just disintegrates like that. That's cool. All right, there's the old seal. All right, so I want to get this thing as clean as I can. There's a little bit of oil down here. I want the outside of the case to be really dry, and then I am going to apply a little bit of oil right here so that the inside of the seal has a little bit of oil, but the outside is going to be extremely dry. Okay, so what I read was that it's pretty normal to put a non-hardening sealant on the inside of the case here. Make sure you don't get any on the crankshaft. So typically Porsche dudes use something called Curl T or Curl T, I don't know, whatever. Point is, it's a non-hardening sealant. I have some non-hardening sealant right here, so I'm gonna try to just smear a little bit on here, or you know what, I'm gonna do it on the outside of the seal and then drive it in. That'll be easier. All right, you guys can't see this, but I just dipped my finger into some fresh engine oil and I'm gonna lubricate the inside of this seal. Now I'm gonna take this flywheel seal and just smear a thin layer of this non-hardening sealant around the outside of it. Really thin. Now we're gonna try to drive this on, and we don't want this flush, we want this edge to be a little bit proud of the surface of the case. All right, I think that looks pretty good. You can see I have just a bevel of that seal proud of the surface. So it's in there evenly, it's lubricated, and then the outside has some of that non-hardening sealant. So with luck, should not have any leaks here. So another thing we can do back here is, these are plugs for the case, and you can see there's some sort of stuff on here. The factory originally had a sealing agent on here. These can cause oil leaks. So what I'm gonna do is just scrape this off with a wire brush. Spray it with some brake clean. Oh, there's another one right here. All right, sealed. All right, so that about covers it for the clutch inspection. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do yet. It really depends on what my bank account says. It would be nice to get a really awesome clutch for this thing, but again, this is a budget build. I don't have a ton of cash for this, can't afford the pros. So I guess stay tuned and we'll find out what I do, because I'm not sure yet.